Masochism, the tendency to derive pleasure, especially sexual gratification, from one's own pain and humiliation. I would say that what we're doing today is masochism, except I will not be enjoying any single part of it. My name is Bay Dorenboss, and I'm about to watch every single Fast and Furious movie back to 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 back because I am the dumbest person. We're gonna real quickly just jump into it because this video is gonna take me so long to make. But before we start, I will answer a few FAQs. Have I ever seen any of the movies before? No, not to my knowledge, at least. I'm sure I've seen clips and videos here and there, but I'm pretty confident that throughout my entire life, I have seen less than 10 minutes collectively from the entire franchise. What do you already know? I know that they start off as race movies and they become secret agent movies, I think. I know that Vin Diesel plays a guy named Dom, who cares about family. I know that The Rock is in it, and I know that Paul Walker died in real life, which is very sad. What is this video going to consist of? Me looking tired and distressed because I watched fast car movies for half a day straight. After every movie, I will be giving you a summary with a mini review and a mental health check, as I'm sure it will slowly decline over these next however many hours. How do we know you actually watch these movies? Has that been on the whole time? God damn it. Now all those... God fuck! Everything is falling apart. We haven't even started. I'm glad you asked. I streamed on Twitch me watching all these movies. Obviously, I can't stream the actual movies because that's illegal. So I just streamed me sitting in a chair for an abhorrent amount of hours. But I hope that that's proof enough because it's really the best I can do. So if you, for some reason, really want to see me sit in a chair for half a day straight, go to my Twitch and check it out. I also stream video games there sometimes even on schedule. Sometimes whenever I fucking feel like it. That's the plug. Why are you doing this? I don't know. It sounded like a good idea for a video title like 8 months ago and I've been putting off actually doing it. And here we are. Oh my god. I don't want to do this, fuck. The last thing I'd like to do before we officially start is run through the bananas ass way that these movies are titled. Today we will be watching The Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious, Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6, Furious 7, and The Fate of the Furious. I feel like I'm gonna have a stroke. Also, small nitpick, why do 5 and 6 have such similar posters? That's enough stalling. Now you can see why I wasn't wearing glasses, because of this. I should keep them off, probably. That's enough stalling! Let's watch our first movie, 2001's The Fast and the Furious. That movie kind of fucks. Like, I didn't really love that movie. I mean, I like that movie. I like that movie way more than I thought I was gonna like that movie. I really cannot believe that I enjoyed that. But I really enjoyed that, like, quite a bit. Okay. So The Fast and the Furious, the first one, is about Paul Walker's character, Brian Spiegel. It's not his real name. His name's Brian O'Connor. And he's an undercover cop, which blew my fucking mind. Okay. He goes to a shop where they sell tuna fish sandwiches that nobody likes, run by Dom's family, the team. And Dom's sister, Mia, is the one that runs it. And Paul has a crush on Mia. I'm pretty sure Jesse dies, which upsets me so much. He's the scientist. He's the guy who works on all things. He was one of my favorite characters. He's the one who gets shot and killed at the end. I'm going off. Okay. Paul Walker's character goes to the place, and then the team shows up, and Dom's in the back, and Vince is like, the sun looks bad. Vince is like, I'm pissed because I like Mia or something. I don't even know what his real deal is. He's just an asshole. Then he tells Brian to leave. And then Brian goes and races the crew in a nighttime race thing where he loses. But the cops show up, and then when the cops show up, he saves Dom. So then Dom brings him back to the house, and he's like, this is the... They're like, why'd you bring back the... What the fuck do they call him? Why'd you bring back the bummer? And he's like, cause the bummer saved my life, cause the bummer brought me back. And then he takes everyone's beers and he's like, you can have any beer you want. That's Vince's beer, enjoy, cause he's just like pissed as fuck. Okay. Then we learn that Paul Walker's a cop, which is fucking insane and really blew the lid off this movie. The music is bumping, by the way, like the whole time. Then they're like, okay, Paul Walker, they're like Officer Brian, they're like, you fucking need to, they keep wanting to call it and say it's Dom, but Brian's like, it's not Dom. And Brian owes him a car, a 10-second car. It's really important. So then what the fuck happens in the middle of this movie? I don't know. He hangs out with everybody and they become friends and they work on cars and he learns about all the people. And Mia, who is Dom's sister, and I know her name's not Angie, but I want to call her Angie. Meredith, what the fuck her name? I don't know. The girl that Dom's dating. And then Dom is Vin Diesel. Vince is guy with a tattoo on his arm. It's not specific. Paul Walker is Brian. Jesse is the guy who works on cars. Dom calls him the scientist once, and I decided that's his name now. Basically, everyone wants to pin it on Dom's crew, but Paul Walker knows it's not Dom's crew. He thinks it's the bad guys who are the trans. That doesn't sound good. Their last name is Tran. Paul Walker fucks Brian fucks Dom's sister, and then the cop calls and is like, we're gonna move in on the trans, and Paul Walker's like, do it. And then they do it, and it's not them. It is Dom and the crew, but then they go to the desert to race day. What the fuck is it called? I don't remember. Race day. They race and Jesse loses his dad's car and then he zooms off and he's gone for like most of the rest of the movie. And then Dom and the crew go do a job and the whole crew's like, we think it's a bad idea. And Dom's sister, who doesn't go, is like, it's a bad idea. Mia is her name. And then Brian goes and he's like, hey Mia, I'm a cop. And she's like, you're a bitch. Why are you telling me? And he's like, because we got to go help your brother and the crew because they're going to get fucked because the truckers are so mad that the truckers started carrying shotguns, which is a really weird, important plot point that the truckers are mad. They go, Vince almost dies because everything goes fucking horribly wrong and the trucker has a shotgun. Paul shows up. Brian shows up and he saves the day, but he has to tell everyone that he's a cop to get a life flight there to save Vince's life. I'm assuming Vince lives. So then he goes back to find Dom and he's like, yo, you can't go out, put the gun down. And Dom's like, I gotta go find Jesse. He doesn't have anybody but me. And then Jesse shows up and he's like, I'm so sorry, Dom. And Dom's like, yo, it's good. He puts down the gun and then the Tran guy shows up, the brothers, and then they fucking kill Jesse, which is so goddamn frustrating because he's like was like my favorite character probably because I don't know, I liked him, I related to him in a little bit. They go after the two of them. I assume they both die. I don't know if the first one didn't look like he died, but Dom just kind of left him there, so maybe he just fucked him up. The second guy gets killed by Brian in the chase. Brian chases down Dom, and Dom's like, fuck. Dom's like, I used to race here. It's exactly a quarter mile to there, and then they race, and then they just barely don't get hit by a train, and then at the very end, the cops are coming, and Brian's like, I owe you a 10-second car, and throws it to Dom, which shows loyalty, and you see it in Vin Diesel's fucking face. He's like, yeah, you know what? You lied to me, but you've redeemed yourself. You got that loyalty. This movie is fucking so cool, actually. There were like several times I was just like, that was fucking cool. So I guess it turns out I like the first Fast and Furious movie. I really hope that continues. Wouldn't that be insane if I had this idea for a video and then it turned out that I just like all of them? I'm sure that's exactly what's going to happen. So that's the summary. My review is that the music was pretty good. The acting was mostly fine. The shot composition was, albeit a bit normal. It was very early 2000s because they had atlases and floppy disks, which was fucking hilarious, and the way they dressed. But it was overall a pretty good movie. I understand why this movie got a sequel because it really kind of ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger. I would give it like a 6, which doesn't sound like I like it, but on like an honest bell curve, most movies are a 5, so it's a little bit better than the average movie. I liked it. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, probably not after today, but I would give it like that. I liked it. And mental check-in, I feel honestly a little fucking crazy, just in the sense that I can't believe I even liked it, so that feels weird, but cool, exciting. All right, so with that over, let's watch 2003's amazingly titled Too Fast, Too Furious. So that happened. Too Fast, Too Furious, the sequel to The Fast and the Furious, is a movie about Brian O'Connor. He goes to prison for a year after letting Dom escape in the first movie. This movie takes place sometime after he's gotten out, and he is really big in the Miami street racing scene with, I think it's a character played by I think it's Ludacris who plays him. Because I thought I remembered there being a thing about how Ludacris has music in the first movie, but he's a character in the second movie. I don't know. So he gets caught by the police, and then Bilkins, who's the officer from the first one, is like, you're Brian O'Connor, and we're trying to track down this guy, Carter Fuentes. Is it Fuentes? Carter Fuentes. I think his name's Carter. I kept calling him Hector in my brain, but he's Carter. We're trying to track down this guy named Carter. You help us by joining his crew to move stuff, and then we'll expunge all the shit on your record. And he's like, Brian's like, well, then I gotta pick who races with me. So he picks a friend of his from when he was a kid named Roman Pierce, who was in jail, and blames Brian. So Bilkins and Brian go to get Roman, and then they get him, and then he joins up because he wants his shit expunged. There's a girl, and she is undercover. She's been undercover for 11 and a half months, and they think that she might have flipped and that she's fucking Carter. I feel like anxious right now. I think to check in on mental health, I feel anxious. I feel like it's hard to breathe. This happens to me because I have anxiety. My nose is all stuffed because I have allergies and shit, which is not helping me because I'm trying to talk, and I've been sitting for 4 hours watching these movies. And the first one at least was like enjoyable. This one was mostly boring, honestly. Most of the time I was just like fucking sitting there waiting for something interesting to happen. There were a couple whoa moments, but the biggest one at the end just made me laugh because it was so fucking bad. It looked so ridiculous. The writing in this movie, holy fuck. I don't think I've ever seen a movie to its sequel have such a noticeable drop in quality in the writing. Like, it was crazy. And this movie was actually kind of funny. The first one was kind of funny. This one was kind of funny. It seemed like this one was trying to lean more on humor purposely, whereas in the first one, when I would laugh, I was like, that's funny. I don't know if it's supposed to be, but I think it's funny. But just the line, I'm going fucking crazy. I'm going crazy thinking about it. The fucking way the lines were written half the time were just so bad, to the point where like they would deliver some of the lines and I would just be like, that's not even the actor's fault. Like, you cannot deliver that line and it not sound like dog shit. We are 2 movies in of 8 and already the writing is like just bad. Like, what happened? What happened? The second movie is so much worse than the first. Okay, what the fuck happens in this goddamn movie? What happens in this? What happens in this movie? Okay, so they join Carter's thing, and he's like, go to this lot and get a package out of my red convertible. And they do that, and it's a cigar, but it wasn't. He says it was a police lot, but it wasn't a police lot. It was his lot. His car wasn't impounded. And then they're at a party, and he sees the undercover woman whose name I have no fucking idea what it is. She's like flirting with with Brian, and for the whole time Roman is like, don't flirt with women because it always gets you in trouble. And Paul Walker's like, no, it doesn't, but it does. And then okay. There's a scene where the bad guy, who, by the way, is not threatening at all this entire movie. He looks like fucking Corey Matthews is trying to dress up like a gangster to impress fucking Tangerine. What the fuck is her name? What is her name? I'm looking at like, what is her name? Oh, Topanga! It's like Corey Matthews is trying to dress up to be like a sexy gangster to make Topanga jealous or some shit. It looks so fucking ridiculous, and he's never menacing the entire movie. And they try to give him this scene where he goes to this cop at this party in front of the guys, and he puts a rat on his stomach, and he's like, heats up a bucket, and he's like, the rat will dig through into your stomach and fucking kill you if you fucking don't give me the window so these guys can do the drop. And the cop is like screaming, and it's so bad. It's so bad. It's not cool or badass. It's just like, what the fuck is happening? So the undercover girl, I don't fucking know her name. She goes to Brian O'Connor, and she's like, bud, he's gonna kill you with the airstrip. He's gonna kill you at the airstrip. And then his two other goons show up. Then they all fight. And then Carter. What the fuck? Carter. He's like, these guys are riding with you tomorrow. And then they do, and then they have this plan where they go and do the guy who I think is ludicrous, and they go and they have there's the garage, and then all the cars come out of the garages because the police are because the local police are doing a sting at the same time, and they fuck everything up. So then they go and they switch cars because there's like 2,000 cars. And all the cars are coming out, and they're trying to make it so the police don't know where they are. So they switch cars, and then they had the passenger seats hooked up to NAS so they can and just export them out. And Roman does to the one guy, but then the other guys like go this way, and then Paul Walker's like, but that's not where the airstrip is. And he goes, who said anything about an airstrip? And he's like, oh fuck, so he doesn't eject him. So then they get there and it's a boat, and they realize the airstrip was a decoy, and Carter told undercover girl that to see if she was loyal, but she wasn't. So then they get there and they get the money, and he's like, where's the rest of the money? He's like, it's in the car, it's coming. And he's like, I think you fucked me. And there's only one person told by the airstrip, and it was her. And then she's like, oh, fuck. So then he's like, take him, we're getting on the boat, and then you put him in the, take the car, and we're going to go kill him. So then the guy goes to go kill Paul Walker, and Paul Walker is like pressing the NOS button, but it's not working for some reason. I don't know why, but it's not. And then during this, Roman Pierce shows up to Jimmy, whose name I remember, even though he's in 3 scenes. He's the mechanic, and Jimmy's like, where's Brian? And he's like, Brian ain't coming. So then he fucking goes back and he rams it and he saves Brian. And then Brian fights with the other dude, and then they kick him like way too many times, more than necessary. And then Carter's getting away on a boat. So Paul Walker's like, you riding with me? You ride with me? He's like, hell yeah, cuz there's some Dukes of Hazzard shit. And they go 120 miles an hour off of an old broken ramp to fly through the air and crash on the top of the boat. And then they catch the guy. And then at the end, Roman steals some of the money. I feel like I'm going insane. Roman steals some of the money, and they're going to open a garage in Miami. So they say. And that's the 2003 hit movie Too Fast, Too Furious. I would give it, I don't know, like a 4 out of 10 is obviously worse. How am I doing mental health wise? A little fucking anxious, to be honest with you. And I don't know if it has to do with the movie or if I just am, but I feel like this isn't helping. And I slept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 times. I slept for like 12 hours. I've watched 2 movies. I feel so goddamn tired. What's next? What the fuck is next? All right, everybody. Let's watch the 2006 hit movie, The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Actually, no. I would like to say that I was really disappointed that Dom and the gang was not in the movie. And I'm also, does he show back up now? I'm very confused. Oh my God, they're gonna go to Tokyo. Let's just do it. Let's just, is this the right one? That's 3? That's 3. All right, let's do it. It's time for the 3rd one. Still a glare, so no glasses for this part. Okay, that one was fucking bonkers. I'm gonna be real with you. That was something. This movie is seemingly completely unconnected to the first 2. Right before I started, my buddy Drew said, get ready for an all-new cast, and I thought he meant, like, between the first and second one, where there's, like, nobody is in the cast other than Paul Walker. No, not even Paul Walker. This time we have fucking Lucas Black, I think is his name, who plays Sean Cowboy. Fucking, oh my God. We are only 3 movies in. I don't know how the fuck I think I'm going to do this. It is 5 o'clock at night, and I've watched 3 movies. I am going to be here for the rest of my life. Okay. Honestly, I don't think I have a ton to say about this one, because it was overall difficult to pay attention and give a fuck about what was happening at all. I feel hot to myself. I feel like sick. I meant to go and be fucking losing it. All right. Okay. Sean is a kid. He's in high school, played by a man who looks like he's 25. He's going to school, and there's this girl, she's flirting with him, and she's like, nice ride. And then the jock, the quarterback all-star is like, don't talk to my girl. And then the guy breaks Sean's window for no reason. And then the girl, they want to race, and the girl's like, I'll be your prize, which just... don't even get me fucking started. So he destroys the inside of a house, and he gets arrested, and they're like, you're gonna go to jail. And he's like, I don't want to go to jail. Where are we moving? And then his mom's like, we're not moving this time, sweetheart. You're moving. So instead of going to jail, we never see any court case. So I guess they must have worked this out in the courts to make this the legal requirement. But I guess the premise is that he can either go to jail or he can move and live with his dad in Tokyo, Japan. So white hick hillbilly bullshit boy, Bama boy, moves to fucking Tokyo, Japan to live with his army father. And there he meets Twinkie, who is, I think, the only African-American person in the whole movie. Mila, who I believe is Australian, and Han, who is, fucking, help me here. You saw me scratch my butt. Haha. I was talking to the... Han, who is, okay. So Twinkie takes Sean to this thing where all these people meet and they talk about cars, just like the other two movies had. And then this girl, Mila, comes up and she's flirting with him because the main character, boring white guy, always flirts with hot girl. And then DK, his name is Takashi, but they call him DK because it stands for Drift King. He walks up and he's like, why are you talking to my girl? Get the fuck out of here. And then Sean's like, actually, let's race. So they race, but he doesn't have a car. So Han lets Sean use his car, and he totals the thing. So then Sean's like, so Han's like, now you work for me, Sean. So he works for Sean, but his dad's like, you can't live here and race. So Sean moves out and lives with Han. So Sean lives with Han, and he likes Mila, and then Mila is with DK, and DK's uncle is Yakuza, and Twinkie is there. And most of the movie is Sean and Han talking about drifting, and him making runs, and he learns to drift, and they work on cars. And then he goes on a date with Mila, and fucking DK's so pissed off, he punches him in the fucking dick. And then she sees that he got punched in the dick, and she's like, it's over. And then he's like, oh, but it's not over. And she's like, you think anyone would give you a second look if it wasn't for your uncle? Then she leaves. And then the uncle shows up, and she goes and she hangs out with Sean and Han and Twinkie. And then DK's uncle, something with a K, shows up, and he's like, I don't know anything about spreadsheets, but even I can tell that your friend Han is stealing from us. So then DK is like, you made me look like an asshole. And he goes to Han, and he's like, I've got a gun pointed at you. And then they go into a car chase, and then Han, who was my favorite character up until this point, fucking dies. So in 2 of the 3 movies so far, my favorite character has just been axed. Then then Mila and Sean drive to Sean's dad's house for help, and then DK shows up and he points a gun, and then Sean's dad points a gun at him, and then he leaves. So then Sean goes to see Twinkie in his Hulk car. He has a Hulk car. I didn't mention that. He's a Hulk car, Incredible Hulk, the car. And Twinkie's like, we're getting out of town. And he's like, no, I gotta go see someone with a K. I gotta see his uncle and talk to him directly about this issue. And he's like, you know what? I think Han would want you to have this. And then he gives him the stolen money, which then I'm confused. Did Han steal the money? If so, why did he put it in the Hulk car of Twinkie? Why did Twinkie know about? Did Twinkie steal the money? Was it was it a setup? They don't really explain it. So then Sean goes to the place. He's like, I want to talk to whoever the guy's name is. And they're like, okay. And then he walks in, and he's like, I'm so sorry we've caused you so much trouble, me and your nephew. And DK's like, shut the fuck up, Sean. So he's like, but we can have a peaceful option to settle this. And the guy's like, what's the option? And he's like, a race. Because of course he fucking says a race. He's like, we'll race, and whoever wins stays, whoever loses has to get out of town. And then they race, and Sean wins, and he becomes the new DK. And then the ending scene blows your fucking mind, because now they're all at the place partying where the cars are. And Twinkie's like, some guy wants to race Sean, the 17-year-old who was friends with Han, who I assumed was also in his teens, but I guess was an adult. And then he's like, I don't want to race. He's like, this guy said he knows Han. He knew Han. He was family. So then he goes to race, and it's Dom from the first movie. And he was like, when I used to roll with Han. So, enough time has passed since the first movie that Dom is now in Tokyo and used in the past rolled with Han, and then Han and him stopped rolling together. And Han had enough time to go to Tokyo, establish himself, for fucking Sean to show up, and then for all of this to take place. So how much time has passed since the first movie? I have no idea. How would I rate this movie? I guess also a 4. I really like Japanese culture, and that was very cool to see. It sucked a lot of the movie was just about a boring-ass white guy who was less attractive than Paul Walker and had no charisma at all, and I really could barely remember his fucking name. So overall, it was harder to pay attention or give a fuck about what was happening at all, but it did have a slightly interesting premise. If the movie had just been about people in Tokyo, I probably would have liked it more, if you just took out the American aspects. How am I doing mental health-wise? I feel tired. I feel a little sick. I feel hungry. I feel hot to myself, which means I'm not hot, which means it's just hot in this room. It is always hot up here, and I usually hang out without a shirt on, and I can't because I'm on camera for this entire experience. I don't want to do this anymore. This is a message for Bay editing this video in a few days. I want you to go fuck yourself. You're a nasty piece of shit. I fucking hate you. And I'm only 3 movies in. All right. Okay, well, time to watch. We're getting there. We are getting there. Time to watch the 2009 hit movie with the super confusing title, Fast and Furious. Let's do it. I don't think you can hear it, but there's a dog screaming downstairs because it wants food. Hi, everybody. We just finished the fourth Would you please chill? Hey, bud, you covered it. It's covered. You've covered it. Kid, buddy, hey, your shit is not, no one can smell it. It's covered. You're good. Thank you, Rio. I just finished watching the 4th Fast and Furious movie, and currently I feel like a pile of dog piss just soaking in the sun. That's nothing. The sun is gone. It's now 1908, so it's 7 p.m. if you don't know military time. I started this at 11 in the morning, and we just finished the 4th movie. We have 4 more movies. Isn't that so fun? Fast and Furious, the 4th movie in the Fast and the Furious franchise, is pretty okay. It is about Paul Walker is now in the FBI or CIA or whatever, and he has gone back to being a cop guy. He was a cop guy. He stopped being a cop guy. Then he worked with the cop guys, and after he was on the run, and now he is a cop guy again. And but that's not gonna last the whole time. He is chasing down this guy, and the guy, he's like, "Give me a name," and the guy's like, "David Park." And then separately, Dom is with Han, which is actually pretty cool. We get to see him with Han at the beginning, and it's like, oh, because he talked about running with Han. This is the time he was running with Han. We see the end of the time that he and Han run together, and he's with Han and Letty, and then because of they got the garage in the place, so Han's gotta go. He's like, in a very cheeky way, he's like, I hear they're doing some crazy shit in Tokyo, and it's like, oh wow, I remember, because he gets fucking murdered. That's so cool. I remember this character getting his fucking blown up. Isn't that so cool? I actually also think in retrospect that I liked Tokyo Drift more than I gave it credit for. I think I just really don't give a fuck about the main character. I don't give a fuck about Sean Cowboy at all. We're not talking about Tokyo Drift. We're talking about the 4th one. We're talking about the 4th one, everybody. We're talking about the 4th one. What happens in this one? I'll tell you. So Dominic is too dangerous, even though he's been with them for this whole fucking time. So he leaves Letty, and then some amount of time goes by, and he's in a place, and then he gets a call from his sister, who I think is played by a different actress, but I could be wrong. And she's like, Letty got murdered. So then he comes back, and he finds out that Letty got murdered, and he finds out that the person who he needs to figure out to talk to know what's going on is David Park. So at the same time, Dom and I almost said Hayden Christensen. It's not even close to correct. Dom and Brian Spiegel O'Connor meet up, but not on purpose, and they both meet, and Dom's hanging David Park out a window. He's like, you can't put him down, Dom. And he's like, oh, you here to arrest me? And I'll kill Braga and anyone who gets in my way. And then he drops the guy, but the guy doesn't fall because he's wrapped around a thing. So he pulls him up. I gotta speed up because I'm going way too into detail. Okay, so Braga, who we don't think we've met him yet, and they meet this guy who has another name I don't remember. And that guy is like, I work for Braga, and then this is Phoenix, and he works for Braga, and we are here to get Braga new drivers. We already have 3, so whoever wins this race gets to be the new driver. And I almost said Paul Rudd. Oh my god, I'm losing my fucking mind. What's his name? Brian goes undercover again and races, but also Dom is in the race, and Dom wins because he pulls some sneaky bullshit kind of at the end. So, could we chill? Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to record something. Thank you. So, I'm so hungry. So, what happens? Dom wins, and then there's this other guy named Gopher. I don't remember. Was Dwight. His name's Dwight, and he is an asshole to Paul Walker, so Paul Walker plants drugs on him in his house and arrests him so he can't do the thing, so then Paul Walker gets paid because he was second in the race. So, then they go and they do the job, and then they realize that at the end they were all going to get killed, and that I thought that they was trying to tell us that Raptor was Braga. I don't think it was, though. I think I'm just stupid. And then Dom figures it out, so he lights a tank and blows up the cars, which is it's honestly kind of badass. And there's this cool fight scene, and then there's a chase scene. And then the cops are like, why, Paul Walker, are you bad? And you're with Dom. Bring him in. And Paul Walker is like, no. So he doesn't. And then they hang out. And then Dom finds out that Letty was working with Brian to capture Braga to expunge Dom's record. They get a deal that Dom's record will get expunged. I don't know why that goes away though later, because it doesn't matter later, but there is a point where they have the deal to expunge Dom's record. What the fuck? Come on, I just watched it. So, okay, come on. Fuck. I feel like I'm losing my brain. Feel like I'm losing my mind. Center yourself. All right, you're good. We're vibing. What the fuck happens? 4 movies in. What happens? Okay, where are we at? They do the job. Braga, escape, go. They set a deal because they have the product. They set a deal to meet with them, and they're like, we'll only meet if Braga meets us directly, and Braga gets us $6 million cash, and we give him the thing, which is worth $60 million. So they agree to it, but then they get there, and they're like, this isn't Braga. But then the guy is like, go in, and they're like, but he didn't give the signal. He's like, I don't care, go in. So he goes in, and at the same time, the girl who gets the fingerprints, and then she comes back and she goes, that's not Braga. So then they blame it on Paul Walker, which is a bunch of bullshit. It's the other guy's fault. Let's be real. It's totally the other guy's fault. So Paul Walker gets fucking suspended. So he goes down, and he's like, I'm going with you to find Braga. And he's like, I don't plan to bring anybody back. And he's like, I know. And then he goes in the house and he fucks Dom's sister while Dom's just like right there. And then they go back outside and she's like, how do you say goodbye to your brother? And he goes, you don't. Meanwhile, she's just full of fucking Paul Walker jizz, which is just, oh my God. So then they go do the thing and they drive and then they find him and he's in a church and then they go to kill him. But then they realize that they figure out who Braga is. And Braga's the guy who wasn't the guy who was the guy who wasn't Phoenix, but it was the other guy who was talking about cars at the beginning when they were getting guys to get the cars for Braga. He was pretending to be Braga's henchman, but he was really Braga the whole time. So, they figure out that he's Braga, and then they go to a church, and Dom pulls a fucking shotgun on him, and he's like, I'm going to kill you. And the guy's like, we're not so different. And he's like, you're right. That's why you're going back across the party lines. But Phoenix is mine, because Phoenix is the one who actually killed Letty. So, there's a whole car chase, and the rest of the movie's a car chase. And then at the end, it's pretty fucking awesome. Paul Walker gets into a car crash with the guy, and then the guy, Phoenix, comes over and he pulls out Braga, and he's like, we're gonna save you. And then Paul Walker gets out, and he's like, and he kicks the thing, and he kicks him, and he pulls out a gun, and he's gonna shoot him, and then fucking, I don't know, explosions, so many explosions in the big tunnel, which wasn't as cool as they wanted it to be, but it was okay. And then comes out fucking Vin Diesel is out of the thing, Dominic, and he fucking hits the guy and he kills him, and he kills Phoenix, it was kind of fucking badass. And then but then Dom goes to prison because for some reason the deal's off the table, even though they don't explain why, and it doesn't make any fucking sense that all of a sudden the deal would be gone. So then at the end of the movie, Paul Walker, I'm assuming, gives up being a cop because then him and Dom's sister and two of the guys from the beginning who speak Spanish show up and they fucking are gonna break him out of the jail bus, and that's how the movie ends. We don't actually get to see it. We just assume that's what happens. And that's Fast and Furious, the fourth movie in the Fast and Furious franchise. I have 4 movies left. So how am I doing? Mental health wise, I feel okay while I'm watching the movies. Maybe a little bored, maybe a little sick, maybe just like tired, just not great, maybe a little anxious. But then I get up to talk and I realize that I've been sitting for 2 hours at a time for now 8 hours. So I have all this energy that I want to expel when I talk to you, and also I do feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. Also, okay, what's next? What the fuck? What are we doing next? What's the next movie? Next up is Fast 5. 2011's Fast 5. Oh, I would rate that one 5. 5 out of 10. How would I rate how I'm handling everything? 4 out of 10. I want you to know this isn't... I'm not trying to put on a show for the camera. I really do feel like I'm losing my fucking mind right now. A little bit. This one is bad. I don't even mean that I hated it, because I actually had a pretty fun time with this one. Oh man, okay, how do I say this? So there's these people in the world who talk about like movies versus cinema, and I used to kind of be like that a little bit because I had a close personal friend of mine for a while who was like that. And I still have that part of my brain where I think about, what is a movie and what is like a movie. And I generally think pretty low of like big blockbuster action movies still. And so when I say that like any of these movies were good, I still gave the first one like a 6, I think, and it's been my favorite one so far. Like I don't think any of them are like good movies, but they're not horrible dog shit. And this one isn't even horrible dog shit. It's So the beginning of the 4th movie, there's this shot, the very beginning, before anything even really happens. And just from that shot, I was like, this is more of an action movie. But the first one is a fast car undercover cop movie. Then the second one is fast car undercover cop, buddy cop movie. Because he's got Pierce. Then the third one is fast car movie in Tokyo. Which again, in retrospect, I keep thinking about it, I might have actually really liked in retrospect, and that's the only one of these that I want to watch again so far, because again I really like that kind of culture, and I like just Japan seems like a cool place. And now seeing more of Han, who was my favorite character in that movie, and now knowing more of him, I want to go back and watch it. The 4th one is action movie with fast cars. That is important. But the 5th movie is action movie, and sometimes there happen to be fast cars, which is an important distinction. This movie is so fucking stupid that it's making me feel like I need to stop. I am 10 hours and 44 minutes into this journey, according to my timer on my stream. I've also thought about it. I think I've not been doing a great job of reviewing these movies and just summarizing them. My bad. It's hard to do exist. The point of this movie, this is a long one. I also accidentally only had the extended edition of this one, so it was 2 hours long instead of an hour 45. But whatever. Okay, let's run through this as fast as possible. It's tough because there is a lot in this one. Everybody's on the run. They haven't seen Dom in a while. Brian and Mia find Vince, contacts them. They go to Vince. They go to do a job for Vince. The job is fucked up, and it's actually this whole group run by this guy whose name I already can't remember, even though he's the main antagonist. And they accidentally steal a car from this guy that has a chip in it, and the chip has details to all of the houses where he keeps his money for his illegal drug stuff, which there are 10 of them. Each house has like $10 million. It's $100 million. I feel like unwell. I feel like not good. I feel like my head hurts and is hot. But if you feel hot to yourself, you're not hot. I just don't even feel like wild and crazy anymore. I just feel like drained. Okay, I'm just trying to think of how to even fucking explain the plot of this one. The deal goes south. They don't trust Vince. They kick Vince out. They want to do a new deal where they steal all the money. So they have to call in a team. And this part's pretty fucking sick. The team consists of characters from all the past movies. So the two guys who speak Spanish from the beginning of the fourth movie, Han from the third movie and the beginning of the fourth movie. Again, really sucks that he dies in the third movie because it sucks to know where he goes now. Tej and Pierce from the second movie, who are two very good characters I really liked. So I was very good as relative. Again, this is a Clockwork Orange. Isn't Clockwork Orange, to be clear. And the girl from the fourth movie, whose name I don't remember, who was kind of flirting with Dom, but doesn't end up with Dom, and she ends up with Han. They get this whole team together, and pretty much just the reason for everything that happens next is just because the writers said so. But like, Tej knows how to crack safes, like the strongest safe in the world. Tej just knows how to crack it. You know, he was just a guy who ran street races in Miami. He just knows that. The two guys who speak Spanish, I think it is, who just know how to get another one of those safes. Pierce doesn't really have any special skills. Han doesn't do shit. I don't know why I'm happy he's there. He's probably my favorite character. I really like him. I don't even know why, because he doesn't even do anything. He's just there. He doesn't even accomplish. They set everyone out to go do tasks, and he doesn't even do the one. This movie is a heist movie. This movie is action heist movie that sometimes has fast cars. I don't even know. I just want to sleep. Truly. I don't even have energy. If it looks like I do, it's just me trying to just like keep myself up. Oh, this is the first one with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He plays Hobbs. Oh, and there's these two cops. There's Hobbs and Girl Cop, and I don't remember Girl Cop's name, and I'm sorry. And Dom and Girl Cop end up together at the end. In the whole movie, they have something. And when he first meets her, he says, "I know who you really are." I guess I'm just stupid, and the whole movie flew over my head. I have no idea who she is. I don't know why he would know her. I don't know why she's important. I don't know why they even end up together, because all they do is mildly flirt. I don't understand at all who she's supposed to be in relation to him, and how I don't get it. I literally do not even understand. And I paid attention to this one better than I did the second and third ones, probably, which sucks because I think I might have liked the third one, actually. That doesn't matter. Is the third one the one that had the worst writing, though, or was it the second one? The plots are starting to really bleed together, too. I almost started this part by talking about them getting Dom out of the thing. That was the fourth movie, so I'm really starting to just lose track. Okay, what the fuck happens? Anyways, they get caught. There's a whole bunch of shit happens. It doesn't even matter. It's like a C tier, C plus, B minus heist movie. Again, it is kind of cool to see those characters that you know, but I also just don't really love these movies. I don't hate them as much as I thought I would, and I'm not losing my mind as much as I thought I would. But we're far from done. So that remains to be. Okay. Hobbs' whole team dies, and then Dom saves him. Just kind of cut. They don't have any reason to save him, but the team saves him. Again, I don't fucking understand why, but the team does. And then they're talking about doing the heist still, and everyone's like, "You're crazy," and Hobbs is like, "I'm in." Why, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? And he's just like, "Until that bastard is dead, I'm in," because he killed his team. But like the whole thing about Hobbs. The whole character they set up is he doesn't like Brian O'Connor because Brian O'Connor used to be a cop and they turned his back. He even says directly to Brian, he says like, "Oh, you who took the oath and then flipped," or whatever the fuck. Like he specifically doesn't like that. And then he doesn't even follow the oath. He just like does the crime, shoots at a bunch of cops, and yeah, they might be crooked, but we don't actually know if all of them are. And then at the end, it is pretty funny. He like walks out, and then the guy falls out, the main bad guy. He's like, "Please help me!" And the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just goes like, "Bah bah," and just like kills him, which is pretty. You got me a good laugh, and it was pretty cool. But like then he gives the team a 24-hour head start, which just doesn't make any sense based on the character that they set up. Also the last like there's like the 30-minute gap that's just a car. Here's the thing. Like the last 30 minutes, basically 30 of the last 40 minutes are basically car chase, which makes sense because car movie, right? Car movie, car chase, good, makes sense. Money, bags. Money bags. But here's the thing that's confusing to me. Is there's a part earlier in the, because it's action movie car chase. It's not race car race. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not racing. They're being chased by the police. And there's a part earlier in the movie where they go and Dom and Brian are going to get a new car, and they bet their car against another car in a race. And the guy's like, car for car, and they go car for car, deal. And then it hard cuts to them coming back into their home base with the other guy's car, which should be like a funny. And the theaters have probably got a little chuckle, right? Like, ah ha ha. The whole franchise started as car races, and they skipped the only important race in the movie. They openly show a race later between Pierce, Han, Dominic, and Brian. They show a race between the four of them, which does come. You have to see it because it is important to jokes that come later. Because the joke is that Dom lets Brian win. Oh, because Mia's pregnant. Also, Vince dies. It doesn't matter. But they skip the race about them getting the other car. And this is the extended edition. I watched the extended edition. So at the beginning of the movie, it's literally like, this version contains shit that wasn't in the theatrical release. Enjoy, numbnuts. Like, that's the first thing that happens in the movie. And when they got there, I was like, oh, we're going to get to see the race. And then they pulled in and they didn't have it. And I was like, oh. And then there was a second where I was like, oh, is it going backwards? Is it like showing us that they won and they're just going to show us how they won? That's kind of stupid. Nope. Not even close. Also, just the cognitive dissonance of this movie, well, which, if I understand it, is used a lot in video games when it's like in the cutscenes, killing one dude is difficult, but like in gameplay, you kill like 500 dudes. I don't know if it's specific. Let's put it more okay. Let's not use that term because I don't actually know if I'm using it correctly. I've just heard a lot of people on the internet say it. Let's use a term I do know I'm using correctly. Suspension of disbelief. I can suspend my disbelief pretty easily in the first movie. A little bit less in the second movie, but okay, it's a movie. The third movie goes back to like the level of the first movie because there's no real crazy high stakes, to be honest, right? I think I just like the idea of the third movie because I like the idea of watching shit about Tokyo. And Han being there is cool. But I think that I don't really give a shit about fast car movies is really what I've learned. The fourth movie... wait, what? Which one is this? Is this one 5? Wait, which one did I just watch? Fast 5. Wait, how? Is this the one where they break Dom out of jail? Did I get it wrong earlier when I said that it was the last one? It's this one, isn't it? This one starts with them. Yeah, oh my god. No, I've already fucked it up. This one starts and they break Dom out, and then it cuts to later. I don't know. Then at the end, they all have money, and we get to see what they've all done with their money. I don't know, 5 out of 10. I think this movie has made 3 seem better because Han now has like more of a story and it's connected, and then it doesn't seem to be fucking weird out of nowhere. I don't know, 5 out of 10. The first one's still the best one because the first one I think is I would argue the first one is like a good movie. It's like a pretty good movie, right? The second one is a bad sequel to a decently good movie that is still enjoyable, but is markedly worse. I'm tired. Obviously worse in terms of writing quality, but the dynamic between the two of them is pretty good. So it didn't do well, is my guess. So they made the third movie, and they were like, we're going to make it a franchise, big and different. And I don't think they actually planned for really to do stuff with Han. And here's why I say that. In the fourth movie, in the beginning, Han says, I hear some cool shit's going on in Tokyo, which led me to believe that he leaves to go to Tokyo Drift. But no, because he's in this one, and I believe he's in the next one. And I only think that because I looked up, I was like, when does Tokyo Drift take place? I did see a spoiler for myself, I think, about Shaw, I think. In the end of 5, he's like, where do you want to go, to the girl he ends up with? And she's like, don't you want to go to Tokyo? And he's like, we'll get there eventually. So they like retconned that he doesn't go. I don't even know why I care. To be honest with you, I don't even know why I care. I feel nothing. I feel like I have so many goddamn movies to still watch. I think it's like a 5 out of 10. I think it was just kind of not even boring. I feel like I'm losing the will to care at this point. I feel like I am becoming hollow inside, and I keep feeling my head like it's going to do anything. I think I'm just going to go use the bathroom, drink some water, and I think I'm just going to start the next one, which is 2013's Fast and Furious 6. Good news, I have to buy this one, and it's the extended edition. This movie is a mess. I don't even really know how to talk about this one. Fast and Furious 6, which at the title screen is called Furious 6, I believe, is the 6th movie in the Fast and Furious movie franchise. It is so bad. This one's bad to the point where I feel like it's kind of broken me. I don't even really know what to talk about. Let's just go over the basic plot points. This again was an extended edition, so it was 2 hours and 11 minutes instead of the usual 145. I don't know what specifically was added. So everyone's living lavishly as millionaires, doing whatever. And then Officer Hobbs goes to Vin Diesel's character, whose name I can't even fucking think of, Dominic. And he's like, I found these pictures they were taken a week ago of Letty. Remember Letty who died? Do you remember Letty who died and set off all of the events of the 4th movie? She didn't die. So yeah, I know, it's insane. Do you need water? Okay. I think my cat needs water. It's more important than this. Here you go, buddy. Here you go. New water for my son. The main bad guy from the 4th movie, I think, is Tycho Brahe. It's not his real name. I can't think of what his fucking name is, but it's something with a B. Bracken. He is in this movie. He's in jail. He's been working with the main guy of this movie, who is Shaw, but not the Shaw that will, I believe, later be part of the team, but Shaw, young Shaw. This movie is such a mess. It is inconceivable to try to explain to you what this movie is about. The only thing that really sucks is that I actually think this movie is kind of cool. I think I understand why people like these movies and have continued to like them, because they do some really cool things that I wish those aspects could be done in better franchises, in franchises that aren't the Fast and the Furious, because they do this insane amount of consistency and continuity throughout their movies that is honestly unmatched. Characters from 5 movies ago that were in one movie 5 movies ago can be important main characters now. They still exist. They can just come back, and it works in the amount of ridiculous that these movies are, but that doesn't mean it's good. What sucks is that it actually is bad. It is done poorly. It's also, I'm just jumping around a lot here. It's also absolute insanity. I think I touched on it in the last movie about how Taj, where the fucking pronounce his name, that he just knows how to do things that it doesn't make sense that he knows this shit, he was cracking safes and shit. It doesn't make sense that he would know any of it because he was just a guy. He was just a guy before, and they just write it off as well, I had a life before you guys. But it's just, this movie is insane. He's on computers all the time. He's the tech guy. He designs weapons. He designs these harpoon weapons for them, and it's just a thing he can just do now. Anyway, okay, so it's bad. What the fuck is her name? Teggy? What the fuck is her name? I can't think of her name all of a sudden. Timmy? What the fuck is her name? Whatever the girl who Dom is with in the first movie, and then she briefly shows up at the beginning of the 4th movie. What is her name? I just watched this goddamn movie. Whatever her name is, she's in this one again. She's not dead. When Brian set her up to work with Tycho Brahe in the 4th one, to work with what the fuck his name was, and then she got killed by his henchman Phoenix, whose name I for some reason remember, and we see the scene of him shooting. We re-see it again, and they retcon that he doesn't shoot her. He shoots the car, and it blows up, and then it pushes her down a hill. And then she goes to a hospital, and then Shaw shows up to kill her at the hospital. Do you hear the desperation in my voice? Do you hear that I've lost the will to make sense of this? Everything I'm saying to you right now is 100% true. Shaw goes to the hospital to kill her, but doesn't have any brain memories. She's got all gone now. She can't remember anything. She's a blank slate. So he takes her but keeps her This is the thing that's fucking insane to me. Is her name is, I don't know her name. I have no idea what her name is. But it's like, let's just say it's like Allison Tekmoto. I don't fuck. That's not even close. Her last name is something, and then her nickname, the thing I call her is Telly. What the fuck is her name? Whatever it is, she has a nickname. It's based off of her last name, but it's not her actual name. She wakes up with 0 memories, but he gives her the same nickname. Not that that's impossible, but like, what are the odds that everyone in the new crew still calls her this thing? Anyway, she works for the bad guy. She doesn't remember Dom. She shoots him, but then she doesn't remember him even at the end. They end up together, but she doesn't remember him. Elena, which is cop girl from the last movie that Dom was with, she's like, if I thought my husband was still alive, her husband's dead, by the way. If I thought my husband was still alive, I would go. You gotta go. So he gets the team and they go, except for Mia. Mia doesn't go because she's with the kid. But then later she is there. She's on the plane. The plane blows up. It doesn't matter. Anyways, so then instead of Elena, cop girl, Hobbs has a new partner named Riley, who's cool. She's evil. You find that out at the very end of the movie, basically. It's maybe like the last fourth, really. There's no lead up to it. It makes no sense. There's no logic. It is such a like, boom, we gotcha, tricked ya, ooh, in your fucking face, you dumb fucking idiot. You thought she was this? She's evil. Why? Just cuz, basically. Then I think the most bonkers ass part of this whole movie is I wish I could make a full hour-long video just about this movie and how fucking insane it is. It's ridiculous. I could not even, I have explained, I feel like I've explained I've been talking for 9 minutes right now. This section, which has now probably been cut down, but for me in real life as I'm recording this is 9 minutes and 20 seconds. I have not even explained to you, I would say 10% of the movie. That's how fucking batshit this movie is. I feel like the movies haven't been good in a couple. I feel like the movies haven't been good for a few. Right? I would argue that all of them, except for the first one, are bad. I think Tokyo Drift might be good in retrospect, but I don't know. The second one, I enjoyed some of them other than the first one, but the first one I think is the only one you can call a good movie. Because I think to be a good movie, you have to have pretty good writing, cinematography, a good compelling story, the characters, maybe the music. I feel like the first one had music. I was dancing like the whole time. Stay on track. So there's a part where the bad guy gets a tank and they're fighting and there's the tank and then she goes up to fucking, what is her name? I'm so pissed. They just said it at the end of the movie and I was like, lock that in. I need to remember that. It's important. She's very important to the story. Okay. Teddy, Muddy, Teggy, Teppy. Fucking Christ, dude. What time is it? Is it late? It's so goddamn late. What was I talking about? She goes flying through the air. They're on top of a bridge. It's like 600 fucking stories in the air. She goes flying through the air. She's gonna die. Dom fucking leaps and catches her in midair, which is insane precision. They land on a car on the bridge, don't die. Then she's like, how'd you know there's gonna be a car there? And he was like, I didn't. Sometimes you gotta have faith. Shut the fuck up. Okay, next. Then they capture Shaw and they take him to the prison and they're all talking and then they're like, you're gonna want to hear this. And Shaw comes out and he's like, I'll give the order right now if you don't let me go. With he wants a computer chip. I don't even remember what it does, but he wants a computer chip. I'm pretty sure this is the second movie in a row where the computer chip was the thing that fucking mattered. He has Mia. Dom's sister is named Mia, and she's also the one who's dating Brian or married to Brian, and they have a kid, etc., etc. And he's like, oh, she'll die if you don't let me go, walk out of here. And so then the general guy's like, no, that doesn't change anything. And then Hobbs pulls a gun on the general and is like, it changes everything. Why? Why does it change everything, Hobbs? Why on earth does it change everything? Why are you so gung-ho to help the family? For no reason. They saved your life once fucking years ago. So then they let him go and he's like, babe, are you coming? Everyone thinks he's talking to fucking whatever her goddamn name is. But then Riley goes instead and she's like, yeah, coming, babe. And then the movie's like, ooh, gotcha. And you're like, okay, I guess. I guess you got me. You're right, movie. You're fucking right. You got me. I could not have guessed that random ass Riley, character 47 in this movie, who doesn't fucking matter. I wouldn't have guessed she was evil. What will she do now? Will she provide context? Will she be helpful to the story? Oh no, she'll get harpooned. They harpooned the bitch. They harpooned the bitch out of an airplane. That's what she does. That's her whole role in the movie, is to punch, 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 gun out of ammo, look, punch, punch, look, and she goes, wrong team, bitch, harpooned out of an airplane. That's what she does. Okay. Let's hold it together. Let's hold it together. They let him go. And he's like, if you let me go, Mia will live. And then he gets in the car outside the building, and she's like, are you Riley? She's like, are you gonna let Elena go? He's like, no. So he calls his men to kill her. She's in the plane. They're driving to the plane. The plane's flying to them. As they're driving to the plane, everyone's on the army base. So, then the team just goes after him immediately. He doesn't even leave the army base. They go right after him. They let him walk out the door, and then they go capture him immediately. So I don't know why they even let him go. Because of that, Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, I don't fucking know. Her character's name is Giselle. I found out, by the way. I found out after she died. Spoiler alert, she fucking dies. Her and Han are like, we should settle down. Where do you want to go? Tokyo? And then they go to then she dies, saving him, kinda, which it doesn't. She dies from a fall that looks like it would kill you, but then Dom survives a fiery, burning plane crash, and I spoiled for myself that the younger Shaw goes into a coma from falling out of the same plane that Gal Gadot is lower than that plane, going less speed, and dies, and the other Shaw goes into a coma. Young Shaw, okay. So then, at the end of the movie, they'll have a barbecue, and he's like, okay, you're serious? You're gonna go to Tokyo? And he's like, yeah, I gotta go to Tokyo. I just gotta. And then the end credits scene, it shows him get killed in Tokyo during the race, but it flips it. It retcons it so that he gets hit on purpose. Well, he's not doing it on purpose. Someone purposely hits him, and then he dies. And it's Shaw's older brother, who's played by fucking Jason Statham or some shit, I'm pretty sure, who I think eventually joins the team. This movie's awful. This movie is horrid dog shit, to be honest with you. The plot lines don't make any sense. Like Paul Walker going back to America to go into prison, and the one cop who hates him helping him to get into prison, and then he gets into a prison fight with Tycho Brahe, that's not his name, and just to get information, and then he comes back, and it's like, I would love a franchise that brings back characters that far away and that often and that cool, and has storylines that connect, like, oh, actually this character is connected to this character. I wish that kind of stuff existed in a movie franchise, a video game franchise, a TV show franchise that wasn't the Fast and the goddamn Furious, because this movie has very fastly made me very furious. Did you hear my joke I just made? I don't know, 3 out of 10, I guess. 3 out of 10. It was competent. There were things about it I liked, technically. I need to reevaluate my life decisions. It is 40 after midnight. Now it's Saturday. It's time for the 2015 hit movie, Furious 7. Letty! Her name's Letty. Here's the thing. This one's good? Okay, I don't actually smoke, so we're just gonna... Yep, good enough. Yeah, this one's just good for some reason. I don't fucking know. That was disgusting. I don't smoke cigarettes. I legitimately don't smoke cigarettes. I hate the way they taste, and they're bad for you. But I have a packet of cigarettes just kind of cuz. I thought that would be funny. I hope it was funny, because it means I had to take a puff of a cigarette. Now I feel gross as fuck. This one's good. in my opinion. Maybe controversial, but I think that Furious 7 is the second best Fast and Furious movie, just behind the first one. This one is a new director. A bunch of these have the same director, but I noticed at the beginning this one is labeled as a different director. It's really not even, I feel like I don't have that much to talk about for this one, honestly. It's better directed than all of the other ones. The first one, debatable, but they're so different it's hard to compare. The plot is simple. It's crazy because this movie is so insane that you would think that it would be dog shit because it's so hard. It's such like a fucking out there concept. But like the last movie is so out there and also so bad that when you get to this movie, it wants you to suspend your disbelief as much, if not more, but you're willing to because what's going on makes any lick of sense, and you just watched the last one because Fast and Furious 6 fucking sucks. This movie seems pretty good. First of all, the opening shot is legitimately beautiful. It's great. The opening shot is this very long one take of Jason Statham's character, Shaw, older Shaw. He's talking to his brother who's in a coma. He puts a gun down. I was like, that looks bad. But then he fucking literally walks through the entire place and you see all the people he killed to get there just to see his brother in the hospital. And then he walks like downstairs and he grabs like a grenade. He gives it to a guy and then he walks. It's a very long shot. It looks super cool. It's very well done. Jason Statham sells the character hardcore, even though I fucking hate him and don't know how I'm ever going to get okay with the fact that I know he's coming back. Basically, Jason Statham's character, Shaw, is hunting down the team because they put his brother in a coma. He kills Han first, and then he hunts everyone else down. This guy who calls himself Mr. Nobody shows up, and he's like, hey, if you help me get back this program that this amazing hacker created that is called God's Eye that lets us basically track anyone ever anywhere in the entire world, if you do that for me, then we will use it. We'll let you use it to find Shaw. And so they do a mission to get the hacker girl. Then they do a mission to get the God's Eye. And then they do a mission to kill Shaw, which they don't kill him, but to beat Shaw. The writing is okay for most of it. They're obviously later in the series is dribbled down, but it actually has kind of fluctuated. So it wasn't that bad. The music was mostly pretty good. Nothing crazy, but there was some enjoyable parts that I was definitely vibing along to. It has the best action sequences in the entire franchise, entire series. Hands down, not even a question, the best action sequences, the fight between Hobbs and Shaw near the beginning, and then the fights through the whole thing are really good, but that one specifically is super good. Hobbs isn't in the movie that much, I assume because The Rock was filming 25 other things probably, because he's like the highest paid actor ever or whatever. Yeah, it was good. I even teared up when Dom almost died, even though I knew he wasn't going to, and knowing that it was Paul Walker's last movie and see you again playing and stuff, it kind of got to me a little bit, especially since I remember when that happened, and even though I hadn't seen the movies and wasn't a fan of the franchise, it still affected me. Around that time, there was a kid in my school named Bobby who died, and I didn't know him, so I can't like pretend that like I was really torn up about it because I specifically knew him, but it was hard, and I had friends who were very good friends with him, and they performed that song at like a little concert thing for him during school, and I remember that just being tough for all of them, and so it gives me the memories of like watching people go through that, and I don't know, I like this one. I think that it's not a perfect movie. It's definitely a very dude bro-y action movie. It leans very hardcore into the insanity of like, look what's happening. But I think that Furious 7 is like I would give it like a 6-ish out of 10. I think I gave the first movie like a 6. I think maybe like a 7. This is like a 6, 7. Like, it's not high art. It's not incredible. It's good though, and I liked it. I think the only problem with this movie is you need to watch all of the other movies for it to really give you the impact. And I think that's part of the reason it impacted me so much is because I watched all of the other movies in a row so far. Because like, they even bring back the dude from fucking Tokyo Drift, and they do a new scene with him and Dom talking after the race that they've had where Dom presumably wins. That's super cool. It makes me like that guy more, and it makes me connect more with Tokyo Drift, which even though Han is in it, felt very outside of the franchise. I can't believe it, but I think that Furious 7 is a good movie. I think it went from their worst movie to their second best movie. I don't really have anything else to say about this one. It's far from the greatest movie I've ever seen. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but I enjoyed myself, and that's pretty incredible to say considering I'm 16 hours into this bullshit and I actually got to enjoy some of it, which is pretty nice. So finally, we're at the end. We have yet another extended cut. The last how many fucking ones have been extended cuts? This is the final movie for tonight. 2017's The Fate of the Furious. I have been watching movies for 19 hours and 16 minutes and 4 seconds. It is 6:17 a.m. and I started at like 11 something yesterday, and we just finished The Fate of the Furious. I wish I had a lot to say about this one. I think it's probably a mixture of fatigue from watching 19 hours worth of movies, especially from the same series, and just general being tired. But I zoned out a lot in this one, to be real with you, and it's because I didn't really like it. I think that this one goes back to almost being as bad as the sixth. This is definitely one of the worst ones. I'm going to be real. This is one of the worst ones. It's so weird that I think 7 is so good, because this one's also very bad. It has good stuff in it, and the ending is okay. There's some good stuff at the end, but there's like a huge middle chunk I just could not give a fuck about, and here is why. I feel like this has gotten less and less structured as I've gone on. Here's the plot to this movie. Dom is on his honeymoon with fucking whatever her name is. Telly. Her name is I don't fucking care. He's on vacation with T, for a honeymoon with T, and then this woman stops him and is like, Dominic Toretto, you're gonna work for me, and I have the one thing that will make you turn your back on your family. And she shows him something, we don't get to see what it is yet. And then they have to work with Shaw, the older Shaw, Deckard Shaw, and Dominic's the bad guy. And they don't know Dominic's bad guy yet, and Deckard Shaw is still in prison. And Hobbs is like, you guys do a job with me. And the guys are like, we'll do a job with you. And then during the job, Dominic turns on Hobbs, and because of that, Hobbs goes to jail, where he sees Shaw. And then a prison break happens because Mr. Nobody prison breaks them out. Then the whole team gets together, plus Shaw, to work together. Then Dominic does a thing, and there's a bunch of cars. It's so stupid. So what we find out is that the antagonist is a woman named Cypher, and she has Elena. Do you remember Elena? Cop girl. She was in some of them. She dated Dom when they thought Teggy was, whatever the fuck her name was dead. I am actually so tired. Turns out they have a kid, and she didn't tell him, but she was going to tell him when they got back from their honeymoon. They have a kid. They name him Brian as a tribute to Paul Walker. It's the last thing that happens in the movie. This woman has them locked up and is like, if you don't work for me, then they'll die. Right? And then there gets to a point where he goes and steals a nuclear football, really, and Teggy shows up, and she tries to be like, Dom, I know you still love me, so you won't shoot me. And then there's this guy with orange hair who's also a bad guy, and he's going to shoot her, and Dom's like, don't. And because of that, the woman is like, I have to teach you a lesson, so she kills Elena. It is not justified at all. It makes no goddamn sense. It would not do anything to improve Dom's abilities. It would not do anything to improve his work ethic. All it does is turn him against her even more than he already is by being blackmailed into working for her. For a character who is written to act as if she is so smart, she does stuff that doesn't make any fucking sense. So her plot is to get the God's Eye from the last movie, and then to get a bunch of nuclear codes to get a this is the part where I zoned out. They go to Russia and they steal a submarine. I think there are nukes on the submarine or something. She wants to send off nukes so people know that she's legit or whatever, so then everyone will do whatever she says. Is basically because that's what it is. But then she fucking kills Elena for no reason. She basically is upset that Dom hesitates, and if the orange hair guy wasn't there, would have let Telly go. But she still gets the nuclear codes, and she's pissed, so she kills Elena. And then she goes into the room, and she's just like, all this anger you're feeling is natural, but it's fake. And it's a natural human reaction, and it's dumb bullshit. She's just like, she like kills his ex-girlfriend, and then just like walks into the room and is like, your feelings aren't valid, bro. It's like, what are you doing? Why would Why would you think that would work? Obviously, that would just make him fucking hate your guts more, you dumb asshole. It doesn't make any sense. Her plan is so fucking stupid. Everything she does is stupid. She's not even the worst bad guy. She's not even the worst bad guy in the series. It just frustrates me because she's written to speak like she thinks she's all high and she's played well, by the way. I believe it's Charlize Theron. Does a great job. It's not like she's a poorly acted character, because she's not. She's acted well. I mean, especially for, again, we're not talking about fucking the classics. We're talking about the Fast and Furious 8, Fate of the Furious. She's acted well. She's written okay, but she's just set up to be too cocky and like she's outsmarting everyone, and then she's just stuff that doesn't make any fucking just all of it is so. There are so many other ways to just have gotten Dom to work for her or to have gotten anybody. Also, why Dom specifically? Why Dom specifically? Yeah, he's good. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he's not good. He's good. He's really good. I just feel like there's a million other people who are fucking more qualified. Yeah, Dom's pulled off some big heists in the past couple of years, but he doesn't have any formal training. He was just a dude who raced cars and then accidentally fell into international espionage and shit, It wasn't on purpose. So I hate that quite a bit, and it made me zone out a lot, especially after she kills Elena. I was just like, because what it is really is it's just them getting rid of Elena so that Dom can have the kid and they don't have to kill, because they don't want to kill the kid, obviously. Like, the people writing the movie, that's not going to play well to general audiences if you just kill the kid, right? So they want to kill Elena so Dom can have the kid, but he can still be with Tebby, and they can have the kid together. I questioned earlier if I'd be able to forgive Jason Statham's character, Deckard Shaw, and how he could be part of the team, people could like him. And then I got it. Number one, the main thing he does in this movie is pretend to die and then save a baby. And he's very fun and cute with it, and he really cares about the baby. So you take this man and you give him, his brother comes back, he's out of his coma now, and he cares about this baby and saves this baby's life, and it makes you oh, maybe he's not all bad. He did kill Han, but let's be real, that was a retcon. Get it? It was a retcon. He didn't even kill Han originally. So why even let it really bother me? Because here's the thing. It'd be different if that's the first time Han died, but Han died 3 movies in. So 6 movies in, when it was ooh, it was actually Deckard Shaw. Okay, sure. Fuck it. I guess that's a little better than dying during a fucking street race ambush with some random fucking asshole who's a teenager. Hey, could you not right now? Hey. It's covered. Your stuff's covered. Thank you. It's at least a little bit more dignity because he's Han was a badass, but fuck it. Sure. Why not? Fuck it. Who cares? It's a movie. And it's a franchise I don't even give a fuck about. I don't. I'll be honest with you. One is a good movie. 2 is a fun movie. 3 is I gotta watch it again to give you the real idea, but I think it might be a bad movie that I kind of enjoyed, like a guilty pleasure movie. 4, what the fuck happens in the 4th one? The 4th one, oh my god, what the fuck happens in the 4th movie? Oh my god, I should try to give re-summaries of every movie at the end of this. And when I'm done, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to re-summarize every movie. I don't remember which one 4 is. I don't remember which one 5 is. 6 is the really bad one. 5's good too. 5 is good because it's when they first get everybody together, I think. 4 is the one where Han's at the beginning, Dom leaves, and that's the one where Teggy dies. Yeah. And then 5 is good. I like 5. Pretty good. 5's pretty good. I like having Han and all the crew together. 6 is if you just did 5, but you just made it horrible. 7 is if you did 6, but made it bearable and coherent. And 8 is if you did 7, but you made it worse again. Because it's not great. It's not awful. The bad guy sucks and the story sucks. A lot of it sucks. But on the bright side, that's it. That's it. 19 hours and 27 minutes later, and that's it. I watched every Fast and Furious movie, and I kind of lost my mind, but I did it. I'm done. I've watched every Fast and Furious movie. So thank you for... Except I'm just kidding, we're not really done. We have one movie left. That's right, there's a 9th movie. That's right, did you know that there's 9? Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw from, I think, 2019. I'm not even gonna check. I don't give a fuck anymore. There's one more movie. This was supposed to take me 18 hours. I haven't started the last movie and we're at 19:30, so I'm gonna go do that. So let's watch the real final movie to end my suffering. The Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Enjoy. Hi, my name is Bay Dornboss, and I just watched every Fast and Furious movie that currently exists in one sitting. It took me so long that when I started this process, you may remember that I wasn't able to wear my glasses for the glare. And now, once again, I will remove these pieces of eyewear that I need to see so that it will look slightly better on camera, because there will continue to be a glare because it is sunny outside. You may be asking yourself, Bay, why did you do this? Did you accomplish your goal? Well, dear viewer, why did I do it? I don't know anymore. And did I accomplish my goal? Well, fuck. I have been streaming this live for 21 hours and 47 minutes for extra proof, just in case that this video wasn't enough proof to anyone that I'm a fucking insane person. I'm so glad you joined me on this journey here today. It was unforgettable, to say the least. Starting all the way back when our dear young Brian O'Connor, pretending to be Brian Spiegel, was an undercover cop trying to bust Dom and his friends from stealing from truckers. Till Brian let Dom go, and then was on the run, and then served a year in prison, and then was on the run again, or something. And he called in his friend, Roman Pierce, to help him on a buddy cop journey to stop a bad guy who looked like Corey Matthews. Until we went to Tokyo. A whole thing that seemed like it had nothing to do with anything, but turns out was extremely important 12 years later. When we saw Dom end his career with the girl whose name starts with the letter T, whose name I cannot remember still, and Han, the guy who died in the 3rd movie and then lived in 3 more movies because canonical stuff is stupid and timelines be damned. Watching Dom get sentenced to 25 years to forever with no chance of parole, to going to the next movie immediately after and seeing them save Dom. From the times we saw Vince to the times we saw Vince die, and nobody cared either way, because Vince is the worst character in the franchise, probably. To the 6th movie, which shouldn't have existed. To the 7th movie, which is somehow better, and I think was the one where they drove out of buildings, although I can't actually remember anymore. To the 8th movie, I think that's the one with the snow. That one I could not really pay attention to. Was it boring? Or perhaps have I been awake for... This isn't a bit, I can't see the screen. 21 hours and 50 minutes and 14 seconds. To Hobbs and Shaw, a movie that's barely a Fast and Furious movie, and is really just your standard run-of-the-mill action movie with 2 characters who happen to kind of be in the Fast and Furious movies. If you're curious, I think that movie is one of the lesser good ones, but isn't abhorrently dog shit, so it's like a 4, maybe a 5. If you'd like my summary of the plot that I'm supposed to give you, here it is. Hobbs is a cop. Wait, actually I don't think he is anymore. Fuck. Hobbs is in Los Angeles. Shaw is in the UK. Shaw's sister puts a deadly virus in her skin so that Idris Elba can't get it because he's a cyborg. And he works for a company who is apparently run by somebody that the team has met in the past, but we never learn who it is. And they want to turn people into cyborgs by killing everyone on the planet with a deadly virus. And Idris Elba is actually a robot. He's almost completely robot based on the way that it's explained, so much so that they can deactivate him at a moment's notice. That's the real plot of that movie. I didn't make any of that up. That's real. The real plot of the last current Fast and Furious movie is that Idris Elba's a cyborg who wants to take over the world with the coronavirus. And he has to be stopped by Jason Statham and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who at one point meet Kevin Hart, and then they beat the cyborg bad guys with a bunch of Samoan dudes in Samoa with weapons made out of wood. That's all true. Oh, isn't the Fast and Furious movie franchise really something? I don't know if there's a lesson that we can take away, but if we try really hard and squint our eyes because we're not wearing our glasses, perhaps the lesson is that this was a waste of my time, and that I hate myself, and that I will never do something like this ever again in my entire life. But at least now I can say I've done it. I feel like I should end with something big and profound, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm so goddamn tired. It's over. It's over! I did it! It's done! Thank you all so much for watching this insane video. I hope it was entertaining. At the time that I'm recording this, I still don't even know what this video is going to look like exactly. Or exactly what the structure will be. But I think it'll be good. I'd like to end this video on 3 positive notes. Number 1, this video probably made someone laugh at least once, which means it was all worth it anyways. Number 2, I never have to watch any Fast and Furious movie ever again if I don't want to, and I never have to do this ever again, and it's over. And number 3, Tokyo Drift might actually be good. I don't remember. I might have to watch Tokyo Drift again, actually. Could somebody please tell me if Tokyo Drift is good? Because I feel like it might be good. I am gonna lose my fucking mind. Do I watch it right now? I'm gonna go watch it. All right, I'm gonna go watch it again. Fast and the Furious. Shout out Vin Diesel. It all started when Brian O'Connor stopped at the shop, but he was undercover. Told Dom that his last name was Spiegel cause the FBI thought his family might be the people. We have Vince, who's a dick, and Dom's girl, Letty. Mia, Dom's sister, Leon, and Jesse. But Brian fell in love with Mia. Toretto had a plan to race the trans for a chance to gain respect in the crew. When all was said and done, he blew his own cover to save someone. It was Vince. Almost got shot in the face as Jesse split cause he lost a big race where he bet his dad's car, then a drive-by ended him. Dom and Brian kills the bitches, get revenge, and at the end Brian let Dom go. Now he's on the run from the motherfucking po-po, but they caught up with Brian later in Miami, chilling in the scene with Tej and a new family. Cops said, do this job or go to jail, we clear. So Brian called up his old friend Roman Pierce. Brian flipped the script and worked for the coppers. Been estranged since Roman got thrown into lockup. But now if they move this money for evil Corey Matthews, they go free, no records. The plan's a bust when the deep cover agent gets exposed for leaking bad intel about the placement of the drop-off point. But still the good guys gloat, cause at the end they win by jumping a car off a ramp onto a boat. Next we go to Tokyo Drift. Seemingly unrelated to the last 2 grifts. This kid's named Sean. He's a piece of shit, so he has to move to Japan or face life in jail, I guess. But there he meets Twinkie and a guy named Han. Turns out that he used to ride with Dom. That's right, the guy from movie number 1, and that's not the weirdest shit. Give me a second, hold on. The bad guy is a kid they call DK, Drift King of the street race. He dates an Australian girl and works for his uncle, a Yakuza. Tries to kill Han when he sees there's money losing. He chases Han and he blows up. Sean shows up to the Yakuza and challenges DK to a race, and he wins, and that somehow saves the fucking day. Now it's movie number 4, called Fast and Furious. A confusing title and plot is weird as shit. At the start, Dom's with Letty and Han, and they all part ways because it's too dangerous, and Han mentions going to Japan. Letty goes to try and find Brian. She works undercover and gets killed by Phoenix. So Brian and Dom have to clean up the mess by also going undercover. But they learn that a random henchman's actually the brother they've been looking for. So they find him. It ends with a chase where Dom gets revenge. At court, Dom goes to jail until the team bails him out. Now on to Fast 5, no doubt, which is even more confusing. Turns out we're gonna go ahead and retcon the last movie. Actually, Han still hasn't gone to Japan. And Vince from the original, yeah, he comes back, but he's gonna die and nobody cares because the heist is so big it's for 100 million, and this time they have to get a team together. Roman and Taj from Miami, who better? Han and Mia and a chick from the 4th, and now The Rock works on the goddamn police force. His partner is Elena, and she's in love with Dom, which is okay, cause Letty is gone. They pull off a job and save The Rock's life. He lets them escape, which is completely out of character. Movie 6, this one is ass. Retcon again. Letty is back, and even though in 5 Han says he's headed towards Tokyo, he's still alive, eating chips and talking shit. Also, he's dating Gal Gadot. She plays Bajel, the girl who worked for Braga, the guy who's in jail. But anyway, Letty lost her memory in an explosion, which makes her evil and one of Shaw's men. Hobbs, The Rock, calls them, and the rest of the movie is complete nonsense. It is. This one is fucking ridiculous. They save Letty, put Sean into a coma, and Hobbs' new partner is actually a bad guy. Han and Giselle talk about Tokyo, and Han goes alone after she dies, and in a post-credit scene we get a retcon again. Han didn't die because of a stupid kid. Shaw's older brother blew him up on purpose, rendering the entire 3rd movie worthless. Furious 7 is surprisingly great, better than you'd expect. At this rate, they gotta find the God's Eye made by a girl who's actually really, really good with computers. Also, Shaw is hunting down the team, and Mr. Nobody is really clean. And they go, and they have to go to a place, and they go inside the place, and then they go into a building, and then they go into the building, and then they go into the building. That's a car driving from building to building. Mid-air, they're super high up. This movie is fucking ridiculous. Yup, but it's okay, cause this one is good to any degree, which I couldn't say about the next one. The Fate of the Furious. It is ridiculous. Dom is the bad guy in this one, cause Cypher has Elena and his secret son that he didn't know about, but he was on a honeymoon with Letty. Anyways, Cypher is like, hey man, I'm gonna kill your kids if you don't work this plan. Turn on all your best friends in the world and make the Rock get thrown into jail. And in jail, the Rock has a fight with Shaw, and then they get busted out by nobody at all. Huh? Why is Dom evil? He actually has a really good reason, and the movie makes no fucking sense. He goes after a nuclear football, and Shaw pretends to die so he can save a baby in a plane, and his brother's not into a coma anymore. And also he has a sister, but only in the next movie, and they don't bring her up in this movie at all, and they don't bring up his brother in the next movie, which is confusing. Why don't they talk about all the siblings at once? Anyways, the movie ends with them going to Russia. Why Russia? I don't know. Something about torpedoes. Hobbs and Shaw is the 9th movie, kinda. It's like 8.5 if you wanna count it normally. This ending part is significantly worse because I freestyled it, if you couldn't tell. Hobbs and Shaw are against each other, but Shaw's sister, she puts a virus in her skin so Idris Elba won't win, trying to make everyone cyborgs in the world. He wants to hunt down and kill this girl, but a bunch of Samoan dudes fight him off with sticks, and that's the end of the Fast and Furious. That's so fucking bad.